So we're good to go, Jen?
Yes.
Okay, Julio, could you do roll call, please? We'll call the meeting to order.
Yes, good morning. Ms. Laughlin?
Here.
Ms. Laughlin is present. Mr. Sykes?
Here.
Mr. Sykes is present. Ms. Roig?
Here.
Ms. Roig is present. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Smith is present. Mr. Gunther?
Here.
Mr. Gunther is present. Mr. Vallone?
Here.
Mr. Vallone is present, and Mr. Brooks is absent, and Mr. Siegel is absent. And I see Walter's join us.
Great.
And I believe we have
Okay, so the first
John now too.
item of business is to approve the meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance? And if so, can someone make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay, Ed. Second is
I'll second it.
Scott. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Bills and communications. Jen, you want to take us through?
Sure. So there are no changes to the schedule of payments. So what you have in front of you is a proposed 10 payments in the amount of $31,372.71. These are all pretty typical payments, and you can see what each of them is. As you know, the partnership payment is on the agenda for today because that's voted on separately by board resolution. It doesn't appear on the schedule of payments for your approval now, so you'll approve that later in the meeting. And then you can see the expenses paid since the last meeting. The Murray Bresky loan was approved back in 2021, and it just closed in May, and the funds were dispersed. And then at the bottom section is just payroll for the past 2 pay periods.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the bills and communications?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Ed and Paul, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's approved. Jen, staff activity report?
No changes or additions to the staff activity report. Just for your information, we have a firm that we've worked with in the past that's coming back later this week to help us a little bit more with some QuickBooks work and implementing some of the suggestions that arose from our internal audits. So that's the same firm we've worked with before. Then they've been really helpful. So they'll be coming here for probably just a few days over the next month or two to do a little work there. Does anyone have questions on the activity report?
I do. So the, I don't know, the Fay Hospitality deal that we did last meeting,
Yes.
so that deal didn't close yet, is my understanding.
Correct.
That's
It
correct.
hasn't closed yet.
Is it customary to approve benefits before closing, or was our deal contingent on them closing? Anybody know that?
It's always in advance because it's a condition of their purchase transaction. It's a condition of closing that they obtain approval of IDA.
Okay, figured that. Thank you.
And it didn't close, just so there's no mystery, because there were some underground tanks removed, but paperwork missing with DEC. I know that Mr. Vallone would know more about that than any of the rest of us. So they're dealing with some DEC issues on some long ago removed underground storage tanks.
So what is it? When do you think it'll close, Walter?
I don't know. I mean, we originally thought it was going to close in January, so I don't know. I know we've told them that IDA needs 7 to 10 days lead time. So if it's going to close in June, which is what they last indicated, we'd have to hear from them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
any other questions about the staff activity report? Okay, thanks. We don't need a motion, do we?
Nope.
Okay. So let's move on to new business. We have 5 resolutions to discuss. The first one is the funding for the Partnership for Economic Development for the second quarter of 2022. As you'll recall, and for Phil, who's new, we will each quarter approve the payment to the partnership. So we're now dealing with the second quarter. Can I get a motion to approve the payment?
So moved. Second.
Okay, second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that resolution's approved. We'll now move on to the second resolution, which is extending the sales tax abatement period for the Doge Family LLC. Well, actually for 1 and 2, as their projects are numbered, from July 1 through December 31. What's the reason what's going on there that we're extending?
This is just an ongoing project. So this is the Seminary Hill Ciders project. Doge Family 3 is the separate boarding house project, which is complete. The cidery is just about complete. You can see the request is included. They're ramping up production, which is as per their original business plan. So they need to acquire some additional equipment to get to their full production level. So I think, Julio, I think they're nearly done, but they're still making some equipment purchases and requesting the another 6 months of sales tax exemption.
Yes, they're approximately about 76% of their authorized purchase amounts. So they still have a little room to purchase additional tanks and presses.
Okay,
And Susie, as you can see, they've gone from 2,200 gallons of production in their first year to 4,400 in
Yeah.
2021, and they're hoping to get to 6,000 now. And if I recall correctly from their business plan, they were ultimately hoping to get to about 8,000 gallons. So we should be hopeful that they'll be back, because this is all good
yeah,
news.
for sure. It's good news. It's such a beautiful place. I was there recently. So nice. Okay, great. So did we already put the motion out there? So I guess we're just,
No,
no, we didn't. Can I have a motion to approve the extension?
I'll move it.
Second.
Cheryl, second Paul, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. We'll now move on to the third resolution, which is extending the agency's appointment of Rock Meadow Partners, Great Pine LLC and Narrow Building LLC as the agent of the agency, and terminating the agency's involvement with the land other than land associated with the Narrowsburg Union project. And I guess, Jen, this is one where it's been about 7 years or so that the pilot started, or could you walk us through why we're now terminating that?
Yes, so the project was approved, I believe, in 2015, and the project included the renovation, rehabilitation, restoration of the former Narrowsburg School. And it also included, under the term future phases, redevelopment of some parcels on the other side of Route 52 in Narrowsburg, the former Narrowsburg School ball field, and then three other parcels. So as you can see, and as you know, over time, the company has done a lot of work on the school, but they haven't focused or been able to focus much attention on those other parcels. So given the amount of time that has elapsed, it seems most prudent for the agency to terminate our interest and our assistance with relation to those other parcels other than the school. And so that's what this resolution does. We would convey title back to the company of the parcels other than the school and the adjacent parcel, which actually has been combined in with the school parcel since the original project was approved.
And if they decide to later revisit that, then they can apply again, or how would that work?
Sure, yes. Yes is the answer.
Okay.
And one of the reasons you don't like to have these things go on longer than a reasonable time frame is because the analysis that was done under seeker at the time was based upon 7-year-old conditions. So if they reapply, we would be in all likelihood relying on a more recently conducted seeker review, probably by a town planning board on a site plan application versus relying upon what we did 7 years ago, which was very nebulous because there was no project proposed for those parcels other than the school parcel.
Okay, makes sense. Well, let's get a motion and then we'll see if there's any discussion needed. Can I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll
So
move it.
moved. I'll second it.
Okay, Ed and
I-
Paul, any discussion?
Who's facilitating the termination? We are or they are?
We have title to the land, and the way we're facilitating that termination so that we don't end up with a situation other than one where what we try to achieve, Phil, is that they make a pilot payment or pay real estate taxes every day, but they never pay neither and they never pay both. So there'll be one more pilot payment in January, and then we will reconvey title to them on or about February 1st. And then for March 1st of 2023, they'll go back on the tax roll. So
Got
the
it.
timing is somewhat critical, but that's how it's designed.
Okay.
Okay, any other
This
questions?
this makes me feel old because I think I got on the IDA before this started. This is 7 years? Geez.
We won't state the obvious, Paul. Okay, let's move on to.
How do you
the-
think-
we'll
how do you
call the
think Ed-
question.
How do you think Ed
I
Sykes
was just gonna
feels?
say, how do you think I feel?
Well, you were there for the incorporation of the county, wasn't it?
I was there for the Last Supper.
All right, on that note, all in favor of this resolution, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, carries. So I guess this is also related now to this same project. We have a resolution to extend the sales tax abatement period from July through December for the Narrowsburg Union project. So someone want to tell us why we're doing that?
The request is attached. I think that's the easiest way. And the prior resolution, we're continuing the IDA's involvement in the redevelopment of the former Narrowsburg School into the Narrowsburg Union, but terminating the rest of the relationship where there's nothing happening. There's 5 reasons why they have requested this extension. Conversion of a large classroom on the 2nd floor into private offices. Exterior signage based upon a planning board review. Conversion of a 1st floor classroom into retail space. Expansion of the pack and ship operation that's there. Expansion or conversion of 2 1st floor classrooms into a Healthy Kids program, which is a daycare operation sorely needed in that area. And the renovation of the former school commercial kitchen into a bakery for a new prospective tenant. Those are the reasons.
Good reasons. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve this resolution to extend the sales tax abatement period?
I'll make that.
Second it.
Okay, that was Ed, second Paul. Any further discussion?
Question, sorry. Do we
Yeah,
know,
no, don't be sorry.
is this enterprise making money, and is this sales tax abatement necessary to help them? Do we know that?
We don't know if they're making money. I think we all realize that this has been a struggle for the owners of this building.
They started out with much more optimism than they've realized.
Well, the pandemic was a killer too.
Well, yeah, even before that though, Susie.
Yeah,
And what they bargained for, Phil, when they applied to IDA was throughout the process of gaining tenants into that building, that IDA would support them by reducing their cost by providing sales tax abatement. So it was contemplated from the beginning.
Okay, thank you.
okay. Any other questions? Can we have, let's call the question then. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that carries. The last resolution on our agenda is authorizing the amendment of the Yasgur Road Productions LLC project documents and authorizing the agency to execute and deliver one or more mortgages in principal amount not to exceed $325,000 in favor of SW Legacy LLC. Walter.
I'm gonna defer to Jen.
So
Okay. Jen?
this resolution accomplishes a few things, and you received the request from the company in your agenda packet. This project was approved back in 2019, and it's for the development of a campground on Route 17B in Bethel. The company used the full amount of the authorized sales and use tax exemption, but they are now ready to complete the project. Part of the development of the campground was a wastewater treatment plant or facility, and that required being built out in certain phases with Department of Health approval and other approvals. So it's taken a significant amount of time to reach this phase where they're now ready to finish out the sewer plant. So they have more expenses to get that done. So they've asked for an increase in the sales tax abatement authorization. Also, because of the amount of time that has lapsed, we would need to make some amendments to their documents to push out their development period. So they've requested that. Third, there is an error in the property description, and we have everything we need from the project now, I believe, to fix that. So that's another request. And then last, they have mortgage financing lined up to allow them to complete the sewer plant. So they've asked us to authorize the execution and delivery of a mortgage to make that happen.
And
Well, it's good news that they're still getting the funding. And
I'm going to clarify lined up, Jen, if you don't.
Please do. Yeah, go ahead.
They don't have a commitment. They don't have anything other than what's called a pre-approval letter, and it's subject to a few important things like an appraisal and underwriting. Other than that, it's lined up.
well, assuming, so what we're voting on is only going to go forward if they are successful in getting the approval.
They need to resolve the issues other than the issue involving the loan, whether the loan is ever approved in underwriting or not. And we've been trying to get them to address those issues for quite a period of time. So let's hope that it rolls out the way that makes it easy for them. But they need to solve these other issues, whether or not they get the loan. Jen and I decided to put it all in one resolution without a commitment letter, which we never do, because it doesn't seem like we ever get anything that makes sense. So we're going out, we're approving something that the bank hasn't approved yet. So in that regard, Susie, you're right. It wouldn't happen unless they clear underwriting and get an appraisal. Phil, you're on mute.
And this ultimately may help them with the bank.
I think it's like chicken soup for a cold. It's not going to hurt, but it's not going to make the property appraisal any greater or less.
I understand.
So we lost Susie.
Sorry.
I guess that means, Ed, until we get her back, you're going to have to jump in as vice chair.
Okay. So I guess the next thing we put this on to a vote.
Well, you need a motion.
I'll move it.
Okay. Can I
I'll
get
second it.
Carol? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Is that the last resolution on the agenda?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, wow. Talk about a job well done, Ed.
Just let me make a quick comment on a different subject. On the food hub, as our representative, attended my first board meeting on June 1st. They're a group of people that are dedicated, seem to know exactly what they should be doing. Phil, your name came up a number of times, and they're looking for a number of places to distribute food boxes and so on. There's another meeting, I think, later this week, but I felt good about the quality of the people, which is important.
Yep. We're willing to help.
And do we have anything else to discuss?
Not for IDA, just public comment. And then we have Funding Corp and the LDC meetings, which will be quick.
Okay, so we gonna call for public comment now, or?
Yeah,
is
and
there-
only Joe Abraham is on from the public, and he's usually not a big commenter, but
So, Joe, can you hear us? You have something you want to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so then let's entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Scott.
I have Susie, I'm gonna
That's my
stop the
dogs.
recording and restart it for the next meeting.